Hi, this is Robert with CRUZBIKE, and today we're going to be doing an install of the new Quest rear rack. The Quest rear rack comes in several parts. Included in the package are two side pieces, a left and a right, a top which is compatible with rack time accessories, two top struts to mount the top of the rack to the seat post, a 55mm shoulder bolt. The first batch of the Q rack includes an extender at the bottom that is pre-installed. Future versions do not have this piece. An 8mm and 13mm wrench and a 4mm and 6mm Allen will be needed to install the new rack on the Quest. Also needed will be the two spacers that were included with the Quest when you purchased it. If you do not have these two spacers, please contact CRUZBIKE for replacements as they are necessary for the installation. The first step is to remove the existing rack until it looks like this. In this picture we've already removed the stock rack and set it aside. We're going to assemble the rack. It ships in pieces for ease of shipping. The top is curved at the front. The sides only go on one direction. There is a distinct left and right side. The hardware is pre-installed. Simply match it to the top, tighten it with your 8mm open-ended wrench and a 4mm Allen. Tighten both sides, and then we're going to repeat it on the other side. Note that there's a distinct left and right side to the rack. Once you have all of the hardware installed and tightened, you are ready to move on to the next step. Everything should be nice and snug on the sides, and then the basic shape of the rack should look something just like this. You want to make sure that the upper mounts are facing inwards and are just slightly loose before we do the rack install. They should have just a little bit of play in them. The final step in preparing your Quest for its new rack is to remove the quick release lever that holds the upper portion of the shock in place. Simply unscrew it, remove it, and set it aside, as we will be replacing it with a bolt. Position your new rack over the rear wheel, and using the included 55mm shoulder bolt, you're going to go through the lower portion of the rack mount, through the shock mount, then you're going to position the back end of the bike with the shock and thread it all the way through to the other side. Once that bolt is all the way through, attach the nylock nut on the other side, but only hand tighten it at this time. We need the bottom mount to be loose for further adjustment. Locate the two top struts included with your rack, and also locate the spacers that were included with your Quest. If you do not have those spacers, please contact us at CRUZBIKE for replacements, because they will be needed to attach the top of the rack. Locate the two top rack struts included with your package. Insert one of them through the mount on the rack top. Then, using the existing bolt that you removed from the stock rack, we're going to go through the seat strut. Then we're going to put our spacer on the bolt, and then we're going to go through the new rack strut, and we're going to thread that bolt back into the hole using a 4mm Allen. Once you have everything lined up properly, use your 4mm Allen to tighten the bolt. It is not necessary to fully tighten it at this time. Once one side is complete, repeat for the other side, again having the bolt go through the seat strut, then through the spacer, and then through the rack strut. Now that you have all the pieces in place, it is time to level the rack and tighten down all of the mounting bolts. So we're going to level the rack off here. Keep in note that it might be necessary to kind of twist or kind of position the rack so it's nice and even right over the rear wheel. Make sure that your seat post is level as well. That can affect whether or not the rack is straight. We're going to position it till it's at a point where we want. Then we're going to tighten using a 4mm Allen the top bolts that hold the rack mounts, and the side ones with a 4mm Allen as well that hold the top rack struts. Make sure those are nice and snug. Then we're going to use a 4mm to tighten the bolts that hold the seat struts to the seat post, making sure those are nice and snug. And then the last step is to use a number 6 Allen and a 13mm open end to tighten the new shoulder bolt that replaced the quick release for the shock. Verify one last time that everything is snug and your rack is on. Your new Quest commuter and touring rack is compatible with rack time bags that have the snap it feature, so they simply snap on securely and you're ready to go. They're also compatible with any other bags. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions, please contact us via email at support@cruzbike.com.